Good evening. I'm Pranav Naik from Studio Pomegranate. I run the studio, which is multidisciplinary. We do all kinds of things. We a whole bunch of projects. Can you turn off the lights?
You want to switch it off?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's some things. But 40% of our work is urban design, and most of our work has been done in and around where we are right now. So here's a map where there, and Shivaji Park, Worli Sea Face. There's the Tulsi Pipe Road right in front of Phoenix, and Prabha Devi over there. So these are all these projects that we've done. The red being things that are either complete or in completion, some moving somewhere, something like that. I'm going to show you three projects at different scales and what we've done with them. The first one is a small footpath at Prabha Devi. It's right outside the Motilal Oswal building. This is what it looked like before, a standard Bombay footpath with those triangular paver blocks, people falling all over the place, all those things. So the first thing to do was to study people walking, then correcting the surface, which is the main important thing here, and then finally maintaining interest. So the way we went about that was we got the plan, we stood out there and we measured what people were doing. So they would walk along there's trees, these green things are trees. Then another person walked along that way, another person. We mapped all of that, and then we said, okay, they're not walking in those places, so can we add a little bit of green in that, because there's these trees, can we just give some more space to the trees as well. So coming to the surface, we had in Bombay, we used to have this Shabad Ladi all over the place 20 years ago, and then suddenly the BMC decided that we are going to remove that and we're going to put this, and 5 years and early 20th century. So coming back to our footpath, this is what it looked like, standard, and this is what we did. It still looks like this. You can go now and it looks exactly like this even now. It's a bit dirty, but that's how it is. The trees, we have this kind of scenario all over Bombay where the tree has paver blocks coming right up close to it like that, and then the tree uproots itself, uproots the road and comes out. Then there's a standard detail which goes like this, which goes around the tree so that the roots don't come out like that. There's a much more complicated detail like this one, which is very expensive and frankly a little excessive. And then there's our detail. Here what we've done is we've incorporated that same ring, but we've put it here, we've put a light in there, we're letting soil and we're getting plants in there, and we're allowing the roots to get water. We're also using curbstones and other concrete blocks and stones, whatever that the road has spewed out, we're using that in this space. And finally it looks like this. Now there's more space for the tree, there's green, and this is made of corten. It never needs any maintenance. It keeps working for the next 100, 200 years. This is what the footpath looks like now, with lights, because there's no street lights for people, they're only for cars, so we're providing that. Some more images of that space. Now coming to how we work on these projects. So there's a footpath in Bombay. There's an interested party. So in this case it was Motilal Oswal, and they're interested in improvement of their space, obviously, publicity because they are paying for it, and they are also getting corporate social responsibility, so some tax cuts, benefits, all of those things. They come to us, Studio Pomegranate, and they say that, oh hey, can you do this for us, go to the BMC and do it. The BMC gets free publicity, because what they say is that, oh, I'll come and cut the ribbon, this sahib will come and cut the ribbon, that sahib will come and cut the ribbon. So they're also very interested and very happy in doing that. And finally the footpath is made. The process of doing this, however, involves professional RTI activists, politicians, local mafia and other MCGM departments who want to come and extort some sums from you in any case. These guys want 10,000 rupees per day. These guys want 10,000 rupees per week. So that's how we're functioning. And but we've got a space ready now. Now the second project is Tulsi Pipe Road, and in this case we try to tweak it a little bit better. We try to make it better than what we had done before. So the urban zone was still there. There was an interested party which was the locals of the place. Here it wasn't one company, it was all the companies, all the people who lived there, from like Phoenix, Loda, HDFC Bank, Ambit, everybody was coming in for the same reasons. They're corporates, they'll all have the same reason. Okay, then coming down, we had all of this idea. We went to the BMC, who still had the same idea that they're going to get the free publicity, ribbon cutting, etc. And we were involved in that, but we knew the existence of these guys now. We knew that we were going to lose 10,000 rupees every day. So we're like, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to call them. We're going to call them to the room. So we call them all to the ward officer's room and put them in that place. And then we told the professional RTI guys that you guys go. We don't want you. Local residents, obviously they are welcome. Politicians are welcome. Local mafia had to go because of the politicians. And then all the other MCGM departments were sitting there, so they can't extort any money from us. And finally we got the public space. I'll show you what we've done there now. This is a model of what we were going to do. This is how it was. There's office buildings, illegal parking, and illegal parking under the bridge. So that's what it looked like. There's illegal parking there. This is some people staying there, and then illegal parking in the night. More illegal parking on this side of under the bridge. The road goes like this, and there is a U-turn over there. There was a U-turn over there, but the road was also constricted. As you can see, the road is a bit smaller in that location. There was some places where cars would clash into each other and would cause a big traffic jam. There was only two places for people to cross the road. One was within all these cars, and one was along the junction over there. So this whole thing was just a big mess, and it would cause a big traffic jam all the way this way. So we said, why can't we move that U-turn a bit this way where the road is wider, and keep the crossings, but make them safer? So we moved them here. We added more crossings in the whole space. We cut that, made it longer so that the U-turn is now safer and in a place which is less congested, and it removed all the traffic jams immediately. Then we constricted those places so that cars move more freely. We made all of that a green patch where nobody really walks or anything, but there's lots of plants and trees. And then we made this into a public space. Here is amenity space, there's toilets, etc. And we said, okay, what else can we add to the place? So we added a taxi bay. There's a shared taxi stand outside Loda, which we moved over here, and it's functioning right now. So the taxi walas come in here. They used to make an illegal U-turn on top of the bridge, which they don't do now because they have to come under the bridge. And this in turn, what this led to is an addition of footpath space. You had the two footpaths, now you have a much wider footpath in the middle. So if you compare the two, we've not made very many changes, but we've made a huge change to how the space works. We had some sketches of how it will, what people will do and all. And the idea was simply that let it be an open space, let people do whatever they want. There was some people who were asking us to put basketball courts and tennis courts under this. I said, have you ever bought a basketball? It costs 5,000 rupees. How is a person who lives on the street be able to afford this? It's not going to work. So we removed all of that, and we said, let them bring their carom boards and come and play here. And let them play cricket, let them do whatever they want to do. And that's where the carom board comes from down there. So yeah, now this is finally what it looks like. I'll show you some images of a before and after kind of scenario. Here, where the columns are, where the parking was, now there's space, benches. Like this, there was just parking, people were walking and going through these cars. Now there's a much bigger open space. There's benches waiting, so you can wait for your taxi in a shaded spot in the rain or in the sun. You have many people sitting there any time of the day and night instead of this kind of thing. Note the little stumps over there. Now it looks like this. It's all lit up. There's no problem of vandalism or anything in this whole area. This assembly costs about 10,000 rupees to make, which is much lesser than what the BMC spends on their benches. Taxi bays, and this is how people are using it. They're just coming and sitting out there. They get a chance to take their shoes off. They get a space to stand, wait. They can sleep. They can talk to friends. They can play music. There's so many good things happening because there is this free open space. It's open 24 hours. We had some small problems with motorcycles coming in, but we solved that with this kind of a thing, where you can still have wheelchairs going but motorcycles can't come in. People are playing cricket now and in a much safer place. There was this little singing function some months ago. Lots of people are coming and using it. Now the whole idea of this road is along the entire junction. So along all the junctions out here. So I'll just quickly go through this. This is Rakhangi Chowk, which is near the racecourse, and there's a triangle over there and everyone goes all around it when they have to cross. But we said, what if we do this? It makes it much easier. Cut the triangle and let people cross right through that. There's this space outside Phoenix where taxis just wait like this. So we streamlined them, putting them behind the tree also if needed. You have these kind of footpaths. This one's actually pretty good, so it's kind of staying the same. But what we've done is we've added this little conduit. So utilities, when they put electrical cables or internet cables, all of that, they can go right through this and not have to dig up footpaths every time they do that. We have our same details from the previous footpath that I showed you. You can see what they're doing out there, how the cables are coming out. So it'll all kind of get evened out. Planters, wherever there are planters existing. Tree grates for the trees so that they don't get constricted in that, and that's the detail for it. Now you have to just keep this in mind. What if we remove all of these things and keep only the MCGM in there? So now we're out of it. The BMC is in there. You have local residents and politicians and MCGM departments, all of them working together to make a public space. Instead of us coming in there, the interested party can just say that, oh, you know what, the footpath outside my house is not good. Can you fix it? And the BMC should fix it. That's the kind of model that we're trying to get them to understand and trying to get them to adopt. Also, they should pay for it, not the other parties. And then it becomes into a much simpler and better looking flow diagram. And we're still there. We're, the interested party in Studio Pomegranate or anybody else who wants to design a footpath is still there. Where it's not like we're just leaving them high and dry. So it's, when you compare the three, this seems to be like the best solution. In this, we have to involve so many other people, all these people who own businesses, smaller businesses, because they are really important. You saw the previous image where they just kept their goods outside and there's not enough space to walk. But then the moment you get them involved, this person helped us with getting all of these things transformed into this space, and he's maintaining it now. So you're making people a part of the process, and they come into this and they love working out here because they're here all the time. The cost of building this is 450 rupees a square foot, which is or 4850 per square meter, which is much lesser than what the BMC spends on their footpaths, and it's a much better quality. Ramps, we've got many more details. We've got tree grates with the name of the street written on it. They work. We've installed this at Worli Seaface. and it's been working for the last 3 years. This is a detail for an IC chamber, where they're all uneven. This fits into the thing, into the stone, and it all becomes even. You don't even notice it. Wherever there's utilities coming out like this, you can make this kind of a detail, so you can break it easily and remove it if it ever needs to be replaced. You have garbage bins kept like this along the side of the road. We have a very cheap idea to do it with paint cans and a simple little thing, a little cover over it. We tried another one at Lower Parel, but we also started designing signage for it, because there isn't enough signage, and then you don't find these places like this. So it's bright signage, so people can find these places. You can put taxi parking, no parking, all of these. We've got a whole bunch of other signs. There's bus stops which we have seen like this, where you have this guard in front of the bus stop, so nobody sits inside it, they stand on the road. The moment you remove that, they just sit, they go inside and sit. I don't know why we need this thing. It's an additional cost and it serves no purpose. We designed this bus stop, but the BST didn't want it because they were saying not enough advertising space. I don't see why it's any less than the previous one. Now we've got a better one with a single pole in the middle, and this works even with smaller footpaths, where your footpath is only 1.5 meter wide. So you'll have this thing, you can have 75 centimeters in front, and you'll still have space to walk behind it. The same bollard layout that I showed before, how it works with wheelchairs. Now, Mumbai has 2,000 kilometers of road network. That's 4,000 kilometers of footpath. 100% of our population is a pedestrian. Now that into say 3 meters would give you that many square meters, into 5,000 rupees. It costs about 6,000 crore to do all the footpaths of Bombay, which in 10 years time is only 2% of their budget. I don't know why they don't spend it. Like, it's only 2%. It's, even if you say it's 20%, it's still so much lesser than whatever they're spending on those roads. So coming to my last model, I want to bring up that they are doing something, and they've worked on this thing called Mumbai Street Lab, which we worked on, and this is Nepean Sea Road. It looks like this now. People are walking on the road. There isn't enough space. There's bus stops. The same problems that we're seeing everywhere. This big mess. And I'd like to bring this image. If you can see very faintly, there's like a little brown patch over there. I don't know if it's very clear, but there's a little brown patch on all these big roads that you see where cars don't go. So why don't we use that brown patch for pedestrians to stop? So this is the big plan, and we've kind of done the whole thing. I'll not go through the details of each of them, but I'll just show you the junctions. So this is the end of the junction of Nepean Sea Road, which is J. Mehta Chowk, and here you have cars which go into each other, and there's a bus stand at the back. There's also two roads which go uphill, and we've mapped out the slope of the roads to see how they work. So this is the road that comes downhill, and it's got a 6.9% slope, which is very not so bad, but it comes downhill. And the other road goes uphill, and it's got a 4% slope, so it's much steeper. Impossible for bicycles to climb up. So this is the bus stand where buses are double parked. There is actually enough space, but they've just not designed or planned that properly. This is that what I was telling you before, where the road. So what we proposed is to change the direction of the road. So the steeper road goes down, and the not so steep road goes uphill. So cycles can go, buses can go up on that road, and then that also lets you move that bus stop, which is creating the problem, to that little triangle out there. This is what the road looks like right now, with buses kind of merging in this way and taxis standing in front of it. And this is what we're proposing, where you'll have these islands in between. So the bus stand now becomes into a linear big bus depot, and you get all of this extra space for both pedestrians and for cars. This is another junction along that road. which we're sorting out with a traffic circle. These are how roads are right now. I think here it's a bit clearer, the brown patch, and how we've sorted it by putting a green patch in that brown patch. Now we've also proposed a bicycle lane over there, which is then divided by a median, and here there's a bicycle lane divided by a median and parking so people can get off. Finally, that's what it looks like. Some little ideas of what to do, like putting signs like this, like New York City, into the road so people look, and bioswales, because we don't want to put all our rainwater that's coming onto our roads into the sea, but into the land. And then finally, this is what our space looks like. There's nobody spoiling anything. These kids are having such a great time playing music, singing. The only vandalism that has happened here is by the MMRDA.